Actually, today I was supposed to read Chandra, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah, but I found that Chandra deals with even these Ekadashi Samasas. So
Yes.
the whole Vritti and Sutra Vishesham Vikarpinam, it contains many sutras up to Ekadashi Samasas, that is 2 to 5, 6, 7 something.
Yeah. Yeah. Treatment of this
So,
Ekadashi
I,
Samasa.
so what I propose is that
Yes.
why don't we finish Kashika first and then
Okay.
turn to. Hmm?
Okay. Okay. Fine.
Okay,
Yeah. Fine.
okay,
Okay.
fine, fine.
Yeah. No problem.
I'll start right
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Then Professor Bhatia suggested. So we'll continue with the Kashika even today, and then after finishing the relevant rules, then we'll turn back to Chandra. So let us request Professor Bhatia to start today's session, and uh, I request all of you to please keep your microphones on mute and request Professor Bhatia to start today's session. So thank you very much.
now. Okay, thank you and hello everyone. So last time we finished first part of second adhyaya and today we begin 2-2 with 1. This small group of rules beginning with 2 to 1 deals with what is traditionally known as Ekadeshi Samasa. This of course is Tatpurusha, but it is given a special name and you will soon understand why it is called Ekadeshi Samasa. So the first sutra is Purva Paradharottaram Ekadeshina Ekadhikarane. Ekadesha Asya Asti iti Ekadeshi. So Ekadesha means part and therefore Ekadeshin means that which has parts. Therefore Ekadeshin finally means Avayavi, whole, तद्वाचिना सुबन्तेन सह पूर्व अपर अधर उत्तर शब्दाः सामर्थ्याद एकदेशवचनाः समस्यन्ते. The words purva, apara, adhara, uttara, conveying part, are compounded with the whole, of which, of course, of which they are parts. So we have here Ekadeshin as the constituent of this compound, and therefore it is called Ekadeshi Samasa. Moreover, the tradition could not fit it into any other kind of Tatpurusha, such as Vibhakti Tatpurusha or Dvigu or Karmadharya, whatever. Now he further tells us where does this word Ekadhikarana stands. Actually, when we read the word Ekadhikarana in locative, we understand the meaning as when there is one single adhikarana. So Ekadhikarana is a condition for the compound. Whenever there is one adhikarana, one substratum, then a part or a word expressing a part is compounded with a word expressing the whole. But here he explains the word ekadeshin in a slightly different manner. So he says ekadhikarana grahanam ekadeshinaha visheshanam. Ekadhikarane actually means ekadhikarane ekadeshini. It is an adjective of ekadeshin. And therefore he further explains it as ekam cha idam adhikaranam ekadravyam ekadeshi bhavati. So what he wants to convey is that ekadeshin itself is one single adhikarana. There is no other adhikarana on which both ekadesha and ekadeshin rest. in order to point this particular feature of Ekadeshin, he defines Ekadhikarana as an adjective of Ekadeshin. And he further explains the meaning of Ekadhikarana as Ekadravya. So it has to be a dravya, a substance.
Can I ask a question here? I mean, when we say Ekadesha, I mean, it's a something whole, right? So in that case, I mean, isn't it the case that Ekadesha always presupposes Ekadravya or Ekadhikarana? So why we really need this adjective? Because when we say a part of something, that means that
Yes.
that's one thing. I mean,
What exactly is your question? I did not follow.
no, I'm saying that why do we really need this Ekadhikarana? Because when we say Ekadesha, isn't it implied that it is one thing? Because when we say a part of something, that means it is just one thing, right? We say if something like a part of a, let's say, part of the mountain, if we say, or part of river. So basically it belongs to the same Adhikarana. The part and the whole will be one and the same, isn't it? So why do we need this adjective at all, Ekadhikarana? That's my question.
Yes, I didn't find any explanation here, but we can imagine a situation where a tree is standing and its branch is there, but it has fallen on the ground. And in that case, the Ekam Adhikaranam for both the tree and the branch would be the earth, Prithvi. So it need not necessarily be the tree itself. This condition is that when the part and the whole, they are together and they form one single dravya. So this is, this is my way or my attempt to justify this Ekadhikarana.
Yeah, okay.
It has to be one
Yeah,
dravya.
yeah, okay. Yeah,
And
maybe. Yes.
yes, and he's of course further going to explain, give you a few pratyudaharanas, and that will say something more about it. Okay, so just wait till the pratyudaharanas they present themselves to us. Okay.
Yeah, okay, fine.
एकं च चेद अधिकरणम एकद्रव्यम एकदेशी भवति. It has to be one single dravya, which means that you can be a part of something which is not an ekadravya. For instance, say this is a class of say 20 students and you are a part of it. In that case, there is no ekadravyata. In that case, there will be no compounding. This is what he wants to suggest, and then he will later on give a few examples also. So, Shashti Samasapavaduyam Yogaha. This sutra is meant to be an exception of Shashti Samasa. How? There is again the order of the constituents as reversed here. So we have Purvam Kayasya Purva Kayaha. In Shashti Samasa, we will say Kayasya Purvam, Kaya Purvam. But here it is other way around. And that samasa, that Shashti Samasa doesn't take place in case of Purvapura, Adara, Uttara and their Ekadesh. Similarly, Apar Purvakayaha, that means the earlier part of the body. So maybe from the head to the abdomen, then Aparakayaha, the backside, Adharakayaha, the lower part, Uttarakayaha, the upper part, uppermost part you can say. It's only the head or something. So these are the examples. And here we find that Kaya, body, is one single dravya. And its parts are either Purva or Apura or Adhara or Uttar. एकदेशिना इति किम्? पूर्वं नाभेः कायस्य. What does it mean? Purvam nabhehe kayasya. Kayasya nabhehe purvam. Nabhehe is an ablative here, and the commentators explain it as nabhehe iti dig yoga lakshana panchami, that we have, I think, seen earlier. So in this example, purvam nabhehe kayasya, the word purvam has semantic connection with nabhi, navel. And it conveys a part of kaya. Therefore, there is no samasa. Nabhehe kayasya nabhehe purvam. It is not kayasya purvam. And therefore, there is no samarthya between kaya and purva. Purva is connected with nabhi. Nabhi is further connected with kaya. And the meaning, the commentators explain, is uparishtat yat purvam kayasya. That part of the body which is above the navel. And then it is further said, perhaps in Padamanjari, I don't remember, Natra Nabhi Ekadeshini Tintari Avadhi. So Nabhi is not Ekadeshini, that is, Nabhi is not the whole of which Purva is part. Then what Nabhi is? It is Avadhi. It is the limit from which the state of being earlier, Purva, begins. Natra Nabhi Ekadeshini Kintarhi Avadhi. And therefore we don't have a compound in this expression, Purvam Nabhehe Kayas. Now, yes, Mahesh, the answer to your question. Ekadhikarane iti kim Purvam Chatranam Amantrayo. Why do we need Ekadhikarana, one single substance? Purvam Chatranam Amantrayo. From among the students, you call the earlier one, maybe the first one. And then they say that Chatras, Chatraha is a plural. And all these students together, they do not form a single substance. They may be forming a single whole, a group, but not a single substance of which we can say something is a part. And then they further say, Atra Bahutva Sankhya Vishishta Ekadeshina Chatra. And therefore, we cannot describe them as Ekadhikarana. They are Nanadhikarana, according to the commentators. Are you satisfied with Mahesh? Partly at least?
Yes, okay. Of course, I mean, there is also a possibility of treating Samuha as a single Adhikarana. But I mean, now when we have plural, of course, we cannot do that. Yeah, fine, I think. Yeah. Okay.
There can be a lot of debate on this issue, but perhaps they just want to distinguish between plural and singular. So it has to be. Samuha has always to be in singular.
Singular.
And so here we have.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I think it's fine.
So in case of samudaya, we don't have a compound. Samudaya Chatranam iti anena uchyate iti bahuvachanam. Yatha Chatranam Panchama. This is how the commentary further explains. Purvam Chatranam Amantre, invite the earlier one from among the students. Katham Madhyanha Sayanha iti. How will you explain Madhyam Anha Madhyanha and Sayam Anha Sayanha? And explanation, these two words are very common, used in Sanskrit literature even. But they don't find any place in this sutra. I don't know why Panini forgot such a common word. He could have mentioned along with Purvapara, Purva, Apara, he could have mentioned Madhya and Sai. But then they try to explain it with the help of a Jnapaka. And they say, Sankhya Visaya Purvasya Anhnasya iti Jnapaka Sarvena Ekadesha Shabdena Annaha Samaso Bhavati. In order to understand the meaning of this line, we have to take a trip to a group of sutras which I have mentioned on the paper. So, Talak, will you please display the paper? And once you display, okay, good.
Yes, ma'am, already done. Yeah, please check.
But I think we cannot see the upper side of the paper, can we?
Yes, this is the first page one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Madhyana, this one. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So, in order to explain Madhyana as a compound admitted by Panini, we have to try to understand these 4 sutras. Tatpurushasya Angulehe Sankhya Vyayadehe 5486. Don't bother about the meaning. Ahas Sarvaikadesha Sankhyaata Punyacha Ratrehe 5487. Both these sutras they teach the Samasanta Ach. But we are not concerned with that right now. What we are concerned with is the anuvritti of some of these words in the next sutra, which is relevant in this context. Anhnana etebhyaha. And here we have anuvritti of Sankhya Vyayadehe and Ahasarvaika Desha Sankhya Punyacho. And what the rule teaches is that when a Samasanta is added to Ahan, which is preceded by Sankhya, Avyaya, As, or Ahan, Sarva, Ekadesha, Sankhya, Punya, etc., etc. In that case, this Ahan is substituted by Anna, or this Anna is substituted by Annona Etebhya, Sankhya, Vyayadehi, etc. So, in order to first understand this meaning, now I gave you all the 3 rules, but the rule which is relevant here is only Annona Etebhya. But in order to understand the meaning of Annona Etebhya, the earlier 2 rules are required. And now we switch over to the last rule, and that is Sankhya Visaya Purvasya Annasya Ahan Anyatarasyam Ngau. This rule means that Anna, which is preceded by Sankhya, Visaya, and Purva, is optionally substituted by Ahan when ni, that is the locative case ending, follows. So here there is a reference to the substitute Anna, and this substitute Anna we get from this rule Annona Etebhya, and therefore I mentioned this. The rule Sankhya Visaya Purvasya Annasya can be explained a couple of examples like Dvyani and Dvyahani. So we have say a Vibhu Samasa like Dvyaha or Dvyahan, and then we have the locative either as Dvyani or Dvyahani, because it becomes Dvyana by the rule Annona Etebhyaha. Whenever there is a compound of Ahan with a numeral or with Vi or Saya, etc. This Ahan optionally changes into, this Anna optionally changes into Ahan, and Ahan becomes Anna. That is also taught here by this. Now, what is the difficulty in understanding this sutra? Which sutra? Sankhya Visaya Purvasya Annasya Ahan, etc., etc. They say that when Panini mentions sayo as saya purvasya annaha vikalpena ahan adeshah bhavati by the rule 63110. Panini actually doesn't teach a compound of ahan with the upasarga vi, as he teaches a compound of ahan with, say, sankhya and other words which are mentioned there. That is the problem before the commentators, and they say vi iti upasarga, no, sorry, sayam iti pratipadikaat अथवा पदात परस्य अहन इति पदस्य समासः न क्वापि पठितः, or it is not taught by Panini. And therefore this rule, they say, presupposes that this kind of samasa was understood by Panini. Now let me once again explain to you the exact meaning of this sutra, sankhya, etc., which is stated in the commentary. Tachi samasante parataha etebhyah parasya ahan ityetasya annaha iti adeshah bhavati is the meaning of 88. And further, this rule 6311 says sankhya vi etc., etc., when they precede ahan, then it let me when they precede anna, actually when they precede ahan, it becomes anna, and this anna is further optionally substituted by ahan. So when 631110 teaches optional ahan in a sayam purva compound, or ahan in a sayam purva compound, then we have to say vyartham sayam grahanam ज्ञापयति तस्मादपि एकदेशी समासः भवति इति. So अन्नः सायं सायान्नः is a samasa taken for granted by Panini when he teaches sankhya visaya purvasya annasya ahan anyatarasya. And then sayam anna sayam ahan, then ahan changes into annaha by this rule annonayatebhyah. And later on, this 63110 teaches optional substitute ahan, and then we have both sayahni and sayahani, both these forms, as we have dvyahni and dvyahani. So he says vyartham sayam grahanam jnapayati tasmadapi ekadeshi samasaha bhavateti. But then it's okay. How about madhyana? Now we can derive the word sayana on the basis of the fact that the word sayam, or saya as it appears in the sutra, is mentioned in this rule, sankhya visaya purvasya. But madhya is not mentioned there. And therefore, Kashika says on 63110, ekadeshi samasaha purvadibhyah anyasyapi bhavati iti etadevo visaya purvasya annasya grahanam jnapakam. And further he says, not only when saya or vi precede, but whenever any ekadesha precedes the word ahan, the samasa takes place. Because jnapakasya anyatra param vartate. First, they have suggested the jnapaka that compounding between sayam and ahan takes place on the basis of the fact that the word sayam is mentioned in 6313, where there is an optional substitute taught. because sayana is implied or suggested by Panini. And further, vyartham sad jnapayati, this samasa, and then jnapakasya fourth stage of a jnapaka is anyatra phalam. And this anyatra phala is, as we have a compound of ahan with an ekadesha like sayam, which is not mentioned in purvapara, dharottaram, etc. We also can further extend this rule and say sarvena ekadesha shabdena ahan shabdasya ekadeshi samasah bhavati. सर्वेण एकदेश शब्देन. So यः कोऽपि एकदेशः अन्ना समस्यते. This is a very general jnapaka, so he has made this jnapaka vyapaka, we can say. And this is how finally they have arrived at the form madhyana, madhyam anha, madhyana, which is not mentioned by Panini. And as I said in the beginning, perhaps all this could have been avoided had he directly mentioned madhya and even saya along with purva, apara, adhara, uttara in this very rule. Is it clear? Or do you have any question?
I think it's it's clear. Yeah.
All right. So, ardham napumsakam is the next rule. Ekadeshina ekadhikarane iti vartate. So, both these conditions are there. The latter member of the compound has to be ekadeshin, of which ardha is an ekadesha, and they both must share the same adhikarana, dravya. He further explains the meaning of the word ardham, saying, Samapravibhage ardha shabdo Napunsaka avishtalingaha tasya idam grahanam. So ardha here is used in neuter, whereas if you try to understand its meaning from the dictionary, ardha is mentioned there as an adjective, and therefore it is used in all the three genders. Yes, of course, in the dictionary, another meaning of ardha is given, and it is mentioned that it is a noun used in the neuter, and this explanation refers to that meaning. So when the word ardha is used in the neuter, of course, as a noun, then it means equal, half. Samapravibhage, equally half, we can say. Equal half. So half part. In that case, it is used in pullinga, ardham. And therefore, he says, ardham ityetat napumsakam ekadeshena ekadhikaranena samasyate tat purushascha samaso bhavati. And here, earlier he says, napumsakam avishtalingaha. Avishtalingaha literally means that in which the gender has already entered. So linga becomes a part of that pratipadika. Avishtalingaha. It's a commentators say niyata linga ityartha. So it's a word which is always used in the neuter, and therefore we have to say that it's a part of a pratipadika. So you know the traditional interpretation of the meanings of pratipadika, and they say panchakam pratipadikatah. 5 meanings are conveyed by each and every pratipadika, swartha dravya linga sankhya and karak. So linga is one of them. Here the linga, of course, in case of adjective, you cannot say that linga is a part of his them. But here, particularly in case of nouns like this, it is very much a part of the pratipadika. Shashti Samasapovadoyam Yuga. So this compound is also in exception to Shashti, and therefore we cannot have Palasya Ardham, Palardham. According to, at least according to this commentary and the sutra, but I think perhaps we do come across expressions like Purvardham, Uttarardham, Purvardham Samaptam, Uttarardham Samaptam, something like that. So how to explain it is a question, but perhaps maybe we find some help in the either in Mahabhashya or in Mahabhashya maybe some Vartika refers to such words. But at least in this case, the word ardham napumsakam, in the rule ardham napumsakam, refers to ekadesha, and it is compounded with ekadeshin. And it is always the earlier constituent, Purvapadam. So we have Ardham Pippalyaha, Ardha Pippali. Ardha Pippali is a very favorite example given by the commentators. And Pippali is a medicinal, what do you call? Is it a fruit of a tree? Maybe you can call it a fruit. Half of the, it is translated as long paper. So half of the long paper will be the meaning of Ardha Pippali. In Marathi, we have Pimpli, and I'm sure quite a few of you have already seen what a Pimpli is. It is black in color and oblong in shape. Therefore, it is called paper. Anyway, Ardham Pippalyaha, Ardha Pippali, and how do you get this gender, feminine Pippali? Because if Ardham is the prominent meaning, as we understand it from the Vigraha, Ardham Pippalyaha, then they say in reply, Paravat Lingam Dvandva Tatpurushayohu. So in Dvandva and Tatpurusha, the gender is always decided by the latter constituent, Uttarapadam. That always decides, and therefore we have Ardha Pippali. Of course, there are some exceptions also which are taught by Pandini after this rule Paravat Lingam. Then we have another example here, Ardha Koshataki. Koshataki is also given in the dictionary as a name of a particular tree, and Apte in his dictionary gives the Marathi equivalent as Patoli. I don't know what Patoli is, but maybe it is also something similar to Pippali. Ardhakoshat. Napunsakam iti kim? Gramarthaha, Nagararthaha. So, Gramasya Ardhaha Gramartha. Nagarasya Ardhaha Gramartha. The word Ardha is also used in masculine as a noun. It is used in neuter in the sense of half, and in the masculine it is used in the sense of a part. So Gramardha means a part of a village, and therefore we don't have Ardha as the Purvapada in this compound. Therefore he says Napumsakam iti kim Gramardha Nagarartha. Ekadeshina ityevo. So Ekadeshin, this condition also is mentioned in the rule. Ardham Pashoho Devadattasya. So it means Devadattasya Pashoho Ardham. And which samasa is not found here? Devadattena saha samaso nabhavati. Because there is no samarthya, and Devadatta is not an ekadeshin of Ardha. It is not Ardham Devadattasya, but it is Ardham Pasho. So Ardham Pasho perhaps could be compounded, but Ardham Devadattasya cannot be compounded. This is how he explains this phrase ardham pashohu devadattasya. Ekadhikarane ityeva ardham pippalinam. So pippalis, there are so many long papers, heap of them, and half of the heap, if it is intended, we cannot have a compound like ardha pippali because there are many, they are not a single whole. The next sutra is Dvitiya, Tritiya, Chaturtha, Turyani, Anyatarasyam. Again, Ekadeshina, Ekadhikarane, iti vartate, he says. Shashti Samasapavadoyam Yogaha. Yes. This also is a Shashti Samasapavad. Anyatarasyam Grahanat, so Shashti Samasavoti. Anyone wants to say anything? I heard some sound. No. Yes. Kasyapi kachit vivaksha vartate. No. So this rule is again an exception to Shashti Samasa because as in the earlier case, here also we have the changed order. Further he says, Anyatarasyam Grahanat Sopi Shashti Samasa Hoti. But specific mention of the word Anyatarasyam allows also Shashti Samasa to take place. पूर्ण गुण इति प्रतिषेधश्च अतएव अन्यतरस्यां ग्रहण सामर्थ्यात् न प्रवर्तते. पूर्ण गुण सुहितार्थ सदव्ययतव्य समानाधिकरणेन is a rule which teaches absence of Shashti Samasa. It doesn't allow Shashti Samasa in case of words which are used in the sense of Purana, Guna, Suhita, etc. etc. So it says Purana Guna Suhitartha Sadavyaya Tavyaihi Eva Tavyanam Samanadhikaranena Samasaha Navoti. And example is, Purana is a word like Chaturtha, Panchama, Dvitiya, Tritiya, etc. So Chhatranam Panchamaha. We cannot have a compound in this case of saying Chhatra Panchamaha. So even though a samasa with a puranarthaka word, Guna Suhita, we have to keep aside for the time being because here we are concerned with Puranas or Puranarthak words. So even though compound is rejected, prohibited, not allowed by this rule 2:11, we have to accept compounding with Dvitiya, Tritiya, etc. on the basis of this rule, and we have to accept even Shashti Samasa on the basis of the mention of the word Anyatarasyam in the rule. And this is what he says, Purana Guna iti pratishedhascha ata eva Anyatarasyam grahana samarthyat na pravartate. On the basis of the special mention of the word Anyatarasyam, the pratishedha, the prohibition, rejection of Shashti Samasa by the rule Purana Guna, etc. does not take place. द्वितीयादीनि शब्दरूपाणि एकदेशिना एकाधिकरणेन सह अन्यतरस्यां समस्यन्ते तत्पुरुषश्च समासो भवति. So this is a simple straightforward meaning of this rule and I don't find anything difficult here. The words dvitiyo, etc., etc., they are compounded. Now look into the paper again and read number 2 because I have by confusion mentioned number 3 first and then number 2. So we go to number 2 where I have given derivations of Dvitiya, Tritiya, even Chaturtha, and I forgot to give that of Turiya also because Turiya comes under this Chaturtha. Why I give these derivations is because I want you to understand how they convey the meaning Purana. And they are all Paninian terms. So the basic rule is Tasya Purane Dat in Tadita section. So, Tasya Puranaha means that which completes it. And then the suffix Dat is mentioned. And further, in this Adhikara, in this Arthadhikara Tasya Purane, there is a rule Dvehe Tiyaha. So the suffix Tiya is added to the Pratipadika Dvi in the sense of Tasya Purane, as a result of which we have the word Dvitiyaha. And then Dvitiyaha means that which completes two. That completes the counting two, completes the number two. I don't know how you will explain it, but the rough translation of the word Dvitiya, as you know, is second. Similarly, tres samprasaranam cho. In case of three, the same suffix tiyo is taught along with samprasarana of three, and in three it is ro which has to undergo samprasarana, and then we have trutiyaha as the derivative ending in tiya suffix. Again, meaning that which completes number three, trutiya, or that which completes three, you can simply say. Trayanam Purana. And then Chaturtha is derived by the rule Shat Katipaya Chaturam Thuk. In that case, we have the suffix Dat and the augment Thuk together added to the word Chatur. So Chatur Tho finally gives it a form Chaturtha. This is how these three words which convey Purana, which convey the meaning Purana, they are Puranarthak. They are formed, and thus we have here the words Dvitiyam, Trutiyam, etc. Again, as in case of Ardham, we find that the words Dvitiyam, Trutiyam, Dvitiya, Trutiya, Chaturtha, etc., they are used both as adjective as well as noun. When they are used as adjectives, they are used in all the three genders. But as noun, a word like say Dvitiya is used in neuter. I remember, Mahesh, in Pali, there is an expression Dutiyampi, Tatiyampi, something like that, which is repeated as a Drupada at the end of some paragraphs, maybe Majjhima Nikaya or something, some other text, I don't remember, but this I have read long ago when I was doing my MA in Sanskrit and Pali. So in that case, this Dutiya means second time. So two meanings of the word Dvitiya and of course Trutiya when it is used as a neuter. One is noun meaning the half, and then it is used in the neuter, and also second time, that is, it is used adverbially, you have to say. So it's a kind of avyaya, you will have to say, for the second time. And here it is used as a noun and not as an adjective, as the examples make it very clear. So, Dvitiyam Bhikshayaha Dvitiya Bhiksha. The second part of the Bhiksha, which means again half of the Bhiksha. First part and second part. This Bhiksha consists of only two parts. Dvitiyam Bhikshayaha, Tritiyam Bhikshaya. So it very much shows a Buddhist context, isn't it? The Buddhist scholars can verify this. But the examples clearly show a Buddhist context because Bhiksha appears in the Buddhist text quite often. Dvitiyam Bhikshayaha, Dvitiya Bhiksha, and again we have to refer to the same rule, Paraval Lingam Dvanda Tatpurushayoho. And Shashti Samasa Pakshe Bhiksha Dvitiyam. So we also have Shashti Samasa side by side with this Ekadeshi Samasa. Bhikshayaha Dvitiyam, Bhiksha Dvitiyam. And here in both the cases, the word Dvitiya means second part. Similarly, Trutiyam Bhikshayaha, Trutiya Bhiksha, Bhiksha Trutiyam Va. Chaturtham Bhikshayaha, Chaturtha Bhiksha, Bhiksha Chaturtham Va. And Turyam Bhikshayaha. So this word Turya is derived again. I forgot to give the derivation, I'm sorry, on the paper. But it appears under this rule, Shat Katipaya Chaturam Tukcha. And there is a Vartika which reads like this: Chaturas Chayatau Adhyakshara Lopascha. Chatura takes either the suffix cha or yat, and Adya Akshara is dropped. So the whole of cha is dropped, Tasya Lopaha. So what remains is tura, and add the suffix either cha or yat. If you add cha, it becomes iya, and then we have the form turiya. If you add yat, it becomes turya. So this is how turya is derived from chatur in the same sense as chaturtha. And it is mentioned by Panini in this rule, but the word turiya is not mentioned. I don't know why. Perhaps, yeah, there is a separate statement here, and it says turiya shabdasyapi ishyate turiyam bhikshayaha turiya bhiksha turiyam va. एकदेशिना इत्येव द्वितीयं भिक्षायाः भिक्षुकस्य भिक्षायाः द्वितीयम्. And commentators say further that there is no samasa of Dvitiya with Bhikshuka. Obviously, because there is no Samarthya. And obviously, further, because Bhikshuka is not Ekadeshin here. I think it is mentioned in some commentary that Atra Bhikshukaha na Ekadeshi Kintu Swami. Bhikshuka is the Swamin of that Diksha. He is the owner. So this Ekadeshi context is over, but I take a couple of rules more because after reading this Chandra Vritti on Visheshanam Ekarthena, we immediately have the two rules which are parallel with this. Which are they? Let me. Yes, Praptapanno Dvitiyatvam cha Vishad Gunena. These are the two rules which come after this long Vritti Chandra. And I think in that case, we will be completing Tatpurusha except Shashti. And of course, some varieties of Tatpurusha are yet to follow. But before we enter into Shashti Samasa, we can finish this whole context. And therefore, I take these couple of rules before we read Chandra. So here we have rule number 4, Prapta Pannecha Dvitiyaya. Ekadeshina Ekadhikarane iti nivrittam. So no more Ekadeshi Samasa. Only 3 sutras dealing with Ekadeshi. Dvitiya Samase Prapte Vachana Vidam. So this rule is meant to cancel Dvitiya Samasa. But further he says, Samasa Vidhanat Sopi Bhavati. Dvitiya Samasa also takes place because there is a special mention of the words Prapta, Apanna, etc. in the rule. Dvitiya Sheta, Tita, Gatita, Patita, Gatatyasta, Prapta, Pannehi. So in case of Prapta and Apanna, we have to accept both the samasas, Dvitiya Samasa and this Praptapanna Samasa. I don't know how we call it. We cannot call it Prathama Samasa also because Prathama Samasa is reserved for Karmadhare. I wonder if there is any traditional term for this kind of a samasa. It is Tatpurusha, this much we can say. It is Vibhakti Tatpurusha, of course, because it Prathama Vibhakti and is mentioned, and there is a Tatpurusha samasa. But whether we can make Prathama Tatpurusha as a separate category apart from Karmadharaya, or whether it is traditionally made, is not clear to me. We have to find out in commentaries whether they give any special name for this samasa, as they have given a special name Ekadeshi samasa for the earlier variety. Dvitiya samasa prapte Gurjitavidu. Yes.
No, okay. No, I sorry, I lost my connection. I've joined again. Just to give you some information, this 12th century Pali grammarian Agavamsa, who composed a grammar called Saddhaniti, around 12th century, second half of 12th century, or the first half of 13th century. He in his grammar actually puts these compounds, and he calls them Prathama Tatpurusha. So there must be some kind of traditional source for him to do so. I don't know from where. Either some earlier, probably Sanskrit tradition, which was accessible to him, or I don't know whether it is his own coinage, but he uses the term Prathama Tatpurusha. My doubt is that there must be something, some earlier Sanskrit texts which actually uses this kind of terminology. Either Purushottama, I haven't checked Purushottama, but there must be someone. But he certainly uses the term Prathama Tatpurusha for these compounds.
Okay, thank you, Mahesh. But again, if the earlier tradition had already identified this as a Prathama Tatpurusha, then it would have been found in later commentaries. So why don't you accept that it is a coinage of Agavamsa himself? Could be. And you may not call it a name, but it is just a description, as we say, Dvitiya Tatpurusha, Tritiya Tatpurusha. They are not proper names like Vigu and Karmadharaya. So it's just a description. Prathama samasa means a samasa in which Prathamantam padam, Prathamanta pada is a Purvapada. And that's all. Well, this is my prativada actually. Debate.
Yeah, maybe it is possible. That's why I said, I could not actually find until now any other source for this kind of usage. It is quite possible that this is his own idea. We don't know. Yeah.
But is it not interesting that they found a separate name? Later tradition, they found a separate name for this only for 3 rules. This Ekadeshi samasa is taught only in 3 rules. Similarly, this Praptapannecha Dvitiya, Ishadakruta, Salah Parimanina, Nay, and these 3 rules. Why not some other name? Maybe they couldn't find anything common there. It's apart from Prathama, as Ekadeshan is a common factor there. Let us try to find out, and maybe perhaps we can also coin a term for this kind of a samasa. Or those who teach samasa on school level, they also might have found some, but whether it was taught in schools, I don't know, Praptapannichaliti and all these things. But maybe in Pathashalas also, some Pathashala gurus, they might have coined some words, some special name for this. That we have to check, of course.
Are
And
they kind of named, something like in the text, like the Samasa Chakra and all?
Well,
the Samasa Chakra text?
Where to find out? Samasa Chakra is, I haven't learned it by heart. Is there anyone in this group? I don't know. if anyone is there, perhaps you can check. Or maybe Samasa Chakra is a published text, so you can find it. Someone can go and try to find if it has any special name. Okay. So anyway, good. Thank you for this information. Since Aggavamsa mentions it, either we can say he has borrowed it from some traditional Sanskrit grammarians, or maybe it is his own coinage. Unless we find it in some earlier comment, we cannot say that he has borrowed it. So, प्राप्तापन्नेच द्वितीया, yes, we have already read it. एकदेशेन एकाधिकरण इति निवृत्तम. द्वितीया समासे प्राप्ते वचनविदम समासविधानात् सोपि भवति. प्राप्तापन्न इत्येतो द्वितीयान्तेन सह समस्यते. तत्पुरुषस्य समासो भवति. प्राप्तो जीविकां प्राप्तजीविकः जीविका प्राप्तः इति वा. So जीविका प्राप्तः is a compound which can be explained by the rule as we have seen earlier. द्वितीया श्रितातीत पतित गतात्यस्त प्राप्तापन्ने. And praptah jivikam by this rule. Apanno jivikam, apanna jivika. Jivika panna, the same old example. And then we have kala parimanena. Kalaha. Again, plural here, and this plural is significant. It means kalavachakaha shabdaha, and not the word kala itself. Parimanam asya asti iti parimani. Parimana means a measure. So parimani is that which is to be measured. That which has a measure means that which is to be measured, or what is even not, we need not say to be, but what is measured. Tadvachina subantena sah samarthyat parimana vachanaha kala shabdaha samasya. So here only parimanin is mentioned, and the word parimana is not there, but again samarthyat, as in case of ekadeshin, we say that ekadeshin implies ekadesha. Similarly, parimanin implies parimana. I think there is some statement in Patanjali's Mahabhashya. Somebody can correct me and also help me giving the exact quotation from Patanjali. Sambandhi shabdascha evam atmakaha yaduta sambandhinam akshipanti. So if two words are always correlated, and if one word is mentioned, the other word is always implied there. Akshepa, I don't know how would you translate in English. I will always say implied, suggested, adhyaruta. So, and they give an example like, when you talk about husband, wife is the sambandh, another sambandhin. Husband-wife pair is a pair of two sambandhins. And similar many other, relations. When you say swasa, then bhrata, or even swasa is the other sambandhin. So similarly, in this case, when one sambandhin, that is parimanin, and in earlier case ekadeshan is mentioned, by akshepa we get the other sambandhin parimana and ekadeshan. So parimana vachanaha kala shabdaha parimanina samasyanti. Tatpurushasya samasa bhavati. Words denoting time. Shashti samasa vishaye yugarambha. So this is a special rule which covers the domain of Shashti samasa. Shashti samasasya vishaye maso jatasya masa jata. Jatasya masa would be Shashti samasa. Jatasya masa jata masa. but it is never found, it is never used, and it is not allowed by Panini. But maso jatasya is allowed, and here masa is the purvapad. And there is a relation of a parimanim and parimana between masa and jata. So I think in some commentary they explain what kind of relation is this, and they say Masa jananam parichinati. So the purpose of a parimana is to make paricheda, to separate, to ascertain. So here masa separates the period of birth. Masaha jananam parichinati, and he further explains it as masa parichedyaha jata. Of course, we understand the meaning maso jatasya, masa jata, that means born before a month, simply. Samvatsara jata, born before a year. Dvyaha jataha and triyaha jataha, born before just a couple of days, and born before only 3 days. Now here I find something interesting in the commentaries, and Mahesh, particularly for you, I would like to share it, of course, with all. And I find, if I'm not mistaken, I find some answer to the question why Uttarapade Vratah Dvibhu Samasaha. Mahesh, you asked this question long ago, and I was not able to answer, and even today I'm not really able to answer the question. But perhaps we find some explanation here. And the explanation is not found in one commentary alone, but I had to go through a couple of commentaries, and also try to understand what they really want to point out. And this is what I have understood. Some of you may also go through the commentaries and try to find out if my interpretation is correct. So what we have here is that the commentaries give you two different derivations, Dvyaha Jataha and Dvyanna Jataha. And they derive them in two different ways. So first we have Samahara Dvibhu. Vayohu Annuhu Samahara. And this Dvibhu first is derived as Dvi Ahan, as a rule, Tadyat Arthottara, etc. Here we have an example of Samahara Dvibhu. Vayoho Annoho Samaharaha Tadyat Arthottara Pada Samahare Cha Samahare Dvibhu Ayam. And thus we have Dvi Aham, and then Raja has Sakhibhyash touch, the rule, I think known to everyone. That suffix touch is added, Samasanta, and then Annashtakhoho Eva Tilopa. Annashtakhoho Eva is a rule, 64145. And actually, Titva Dasyatehe Lopa is a very common rule, but here he says Annaha Takhoho Eva Tilopa Bhavati. So here we have Tilopa and we have Dvi Aha and and finally we have the compound Dvyaha. Although it is Dvibhu, it is not used in neuter. There is a rule, Sanapumsakam, which says that every Dvibhu compound in Samahara is used in Napumsaka. Samahare Dvandva Dvibhusya Napumsakam Bhavati. But here an exception start by the rule Ratra Naha Pumsi. Ratra, Anna, and Aha, when they come at the end of a compound, of the Dvibhu compound, they are always used in Pums, Pullinga, neuter. Yes, no Sankhyadehe Samahare. Also, I have. So, Sankhyadehe Samahare, Ahasya Annadeshaha Nabhavat. So, there are two rules which are relevant here. One is Dvyaha is used in neuter, and the other one is ahan is not substituted by anna. Otherwise, annunna etebhyaha would have the word cheer. Annunna etebhyaha, we have already seen this rule in case of madhyana. So by the rule na sankhyadesh samahare, the substitution of anna in place of ahan is ruled out. And by the rule ratranah pumsi, we have the compound used in masculine. And thus we have dvyaha as a dvigo compound. So first we form the compound dvyaha, and then we further uh, connect the word or compound the word dvyaha with jatasya. So dvyaho jatasya, and this compound is explained by the rule kala parimadana, which we are reading presently, and thus we have dvyaha jataha. So the procedure is first derive the compound dvigu, and then connect that dvigu with another word and make the compound dvyaho jatasya dvyaho jataha. Now there is someone who is asking the question, why don't we have this dvigu with the condition uttarapade? The earlier thing was with samahara. So if we say dve ahani jatasyo yasyo, as panchasu kapaleshu samskrutaha purodasha. No. Panchanava priyaha. Uttarapade parataha. So the example is Panchanava priyaha. Panchanavaha priyaha yasyo. Uttarapade parataha viguhu samasaha. Similarly, we have these two words, dve ahani, and the word jata is Uttarapada here. And though it conveys the meaning of a Bahubrehi, because there is a special rule kala parimadana, we have to accept that is a tatpurusha. So dve ahani jatasya yasya, or we can simply say dve ahani jatasya, and thus we have here to begin with a dvigu by the rule tadditarthottara pada samaharecha, and also kala parimadana. But then they say that there is a problem, because as we have anekam anya padarthe in case of Bahuri, a samasa of aneka padas is not allowed in case of tatpurusha. There is a rule supa, which means that ekam subantam anyana subantena sah samasya. This is the meaning which is generally accepted. So we always can form a compound of two padas and not many padas together. So how can you have a tatpurusha of three padas here? Dve ahani jatasya. And therefore there is a vartika, special vartika for this kind of a samasa, parimanina samasa, which says uttarapadena parimanina dvigo siddhaye bahunam tatpurushasya upasankhyanam. If you want to accomplish dvigu with an uttarapada, which is a parimanin, then please allow compounding of tatpurusha with more than two members. Uttarapadena parimanina dvigoho siddhaye bahunam tatpurushasya upasankhyanam. And thus Vartika allows this compound of three padas. We place three padas side by side, dvi ahan jata, and then we make a dvigu compound, as we say avantara samasa. Earlier in case of purva panchanava priyaha, it was dvigu avantara tatpurusha. And we also found one avantara tatpurusha within Bahubri earlier. I don't remember the example. Anyway, dvi aham. So now within this tatpurusha, we are going to form dvigu, because it is to be followed by anuttarapada. So dvi aham samasanta touch by Rajahasa touch. And here we can have annonna etebhyah. Dvi anna ho jataha. And then we have ganna jataha. So the and This is the difference between making a samahara dvigu first and compounding it with another word, and making dvigu or tatpurusha as an avantara samasa of another larger samasa. In case of samahara dvigu, we don't have the substitute anna because it is ruled out by the rule na sankhyaade samahare. Sankhyadehe tatpurushasya samahare vachye ahan shabdasya annadesha na bhavati. This rule doesn't apply in the next case because we don't have samahara dvigu here. We have an example of uttara pada para dvigu, and therefore the rule anhana etebhya applies, and we have ganna jata. So perhaps such kind of samasanta and other substitutes for purva padas could show the difference between dvigu how can we say dvigu as a part of a uttarapada samasa and making dvigu as a purvapada, like dvayoranno samaharaha dvyaha, and then compound it with jatasya. So dvyaha is a purvapada. So clear cut dvigu as a purvapada in case of dvyaha jatasya. And ganha jataha, in this case we have dvigu as an avantara samasa. Avantara samasa of tatpurusha. Could I make myself clear, Mahesh? I don't know.
Yes, I think this is example, and yes, I think now it's clear because this really explains why we need this. I mean the rule, this condition uttarapade. Yeah, I think it makes sense. Yes, I accept.
Of course, this could be just a shastrartha. I don't know really whether these two words really existed in literature. And such kind of shastrarthas are quite often found in these commentaries. And they are finally successful in giving examples like this. And through these examples in justifying Panini Sutras. So, Vyaha jata, Treha jata. But well, Kashika doesn't give the example Ganna jata, of course. For Kashika, it is a Tatpurusha samasa of two components, and therefore Dvigu has to take place first. And this Dvigu performs the role of the Purvapada. Next one is Nay. Nay samarthena subantena sa samasyate tatpurushascha samaso bhavati. It's very simple. A rule doesn't need any explanation. So example is na brahmanaha, abrahmanaha. So no brahmana and naloponayaha is a sutra which we have already seen. No is dropped. What remains is a. So we find it in the compound a brahmanaha, no vrushalaha. And there is a Vartika nayo nalopas tinikshepe. When a thing follows, na of nay is dropped, nayo nalopa. And when shape of contempt is to be indicated. The example is apachasitvam jalma. So jalma, jalma is an abuse. You are not cooking properly, or you haven't cooked properly. You are not a good cook in short. Apachasitvam jalma. Now, whether we can call it a samasa or not, since it is mentioned in the compound section, Has it to be regarded as a samasa? But then Panini never teaches a samasa with a tinganta. So it's only later tradition. I couldn't find any explanation in these commentaries of Kashika particularly, or maybe I have overlooked. Maybe you can see these commentaries later on. But one simple remark which I found in perhaps a commentary on Siddhanta Kaumudi, I don't remember, and I have noted it also, is that apachasi is not a samasa. And he says, O iti bhinnam padam. And this Vartika is mentioned only in the context of name. It has nothing to do with the context of compounding. Actually, it has to be separated from pachasi, though it is printed as one single word, apachasi. It has to be a pachasi from jala. But as we find in case of upasargas, there is a practice, and this practice we find since long, since the art of writing perhaps started in India. They always put upasarga and work together. And they say samvita ekapade nitya nitya dhatu upasarga. And thus agachati, pragachati, they are written together. Which strictly according to Panini is not a correct way of writing, because pro has a status of a separate pada. And in Vedic literature, it has a separate accent also. Every pada has its own accent. So now we have finished, and perhaps one more is remaining. Ishad akruta, yes. Ishad iti ayam shabda. Ishad akruta. Ishad akruta. Ishad iti ayam shabda akrudantena supasava samasya. That purushascha samasa bhavati. Ishad is compounded with any word except krudanta. And then this rule is modified by Katyayana in the Vartika. Ishad gunavachanena iti vaktavya. Instead of saying akrudantena, you have to specifically mention gunavachanena. So Ishad is compounded only with gunavachana, not with any other part of speech. When you say akrudanta, it can be either a noun or even a kriya. So but Panini, by saying akruta, has ruled out only krudantas. But then what about nouns? They also are not to be compounded. And therefore, Katyayana says only adjectives, gunavachanena. And therefore he says Ishat kadaraha, Ishat pingalaha, Ishad vikataha, Ishad unnataha, Ishad pitam. How could it be then? In that, pitam is yellow and Ishad raktam. So they are not krudantas. They are not to be taken as krudantas. And then he further says, Gunavachanena iti kim ihana bhavati Ishad gargyaha. What the hell does it mean? I don't understand. Ishad gargyaha. Does it mean that he is slightly gargya and so he is less gargya and more something? How do we interpret it? I don't understand. Ishad gargyaha. I found some explanation in Padamanjari. I'll read it out. Nanucha gargyo bhavati va na va. Na punah ishad gargyaha kaschit. Either gargya is there or he is not there. But there is nothing like ishad gargyaha. Uchyate gargyatvena sah ये एकार्थ समवेताः क्रियागुणाः तदपेक्षया जातेः प्रकर्षादियोगः गार्ग्यतरः गार्ग्यकल्प्यः कल्पः ईषद् गार्ग्यः गार्ग्यपाशः इति यथा गोतरः गोकल्पः गोपाशः. सो गार्ग्यत्वेन सह ये एकार्थ समवेताः क्रियागुणाः तदपेक्षया जातेः प्रकर्षादि योगः गार्ग्यतरः. So he has a very slight property of being a descendant of Gargya, I think. This is what is understood, Irshad Gargya. Anyone wants to make any comment before I switch over to Chandra? And before that, I would also like to know what time it is. Why?
We still have half an hour, so I think time is perfectly fine. Yeah, I mean this Irshad Gargya. Maybe I don't know. Like in each family, there are some kind of family traits, and maybe this person possesses little of it. Yeah. Anyway, strange example, but yeah. So I think we can move on to the Chandra. With this.
So Chandra 18 we were reading, I think, last time. Can someone help me find out what exactly we were reading and where we stopped last time? I'm very sorry, I don't remember these things, and I also don't mark on my book. I'm sure you were present in the last lecture, in the last class.
Sure, John. I think we were reading examples of Tritiya Tatpurusha probably. Yeah. If I'm not wrong, maybe Chojan or Dragomir can help, but this is I think what we were reading.
Perhaps we finished this Ashreneya, Shrenekritaha, Shrenekritaha.
No, I think not.
The Kashika context. So it's
Yeah, no, probably not that far. I mean, we were somewhere into Tritiya, because I remember that we had this comment that I mean, in the case of Purva Sadrusha, etc. I mean, he simply accepts a Shashti Tatpurusha and not a Tritiya Tatpurusha. So maybe if we can just quickly go through that.
No. I have to read Visheshanam Ekarthena, isn't it?
Yes, yes, right.
So let me start.
Let's start again. Yeah, I think yeah.
Because I don't think anyone is going to help me in this matter. Probably none of you.
No, I think we decided to read it, but then we again thought that we'll continue with the Kashika. So probably yeah, let's start reading it, because what I was remembering was from the previous rule. Yeah, so because Visheshanam Ekarthena initially 2 places we thought that we'll start reading it, but probably we postponed it again. So maybe it's better to just start reading it from the beginning.
Okay, no problem. Only tell me when it is 6:30, huh? Because
yes, sure.
विशेषणं सुबन्तं विशेषेण सुबन्तेन समानाधिकरणे सह एकार्थं. I will just go on reading and then you have to stop me and ask me question if you don't understand. Okay. नीलं च तदुत्पलं च नीलोत्पलं बहुलाधिकारात् क्वचित् वाक्यमेव भवति. दीर्घश्चारायणः लोहितस्तक्षकः क्वचित् वृत्तिः एव कृष्णसर्पः लोहितशालिः. विशेषणमिति किं? तक्षकः सर्पः. एकार्थेन इति किं? कृष्णादन्यः. कथं चिन्ह प्ररूढमिति? विशेषणम् इत्येव सिद्धम्. So it looks like, Chandra wants to club Panini's sutras together into just one sutra, Visheshanam Ityeva Siddham. That seems to be his aim, and therefore he says Visheshanam Ityeva Siddham. Evam Ekapurushaha Sarvannam Jaradhasti Puranadhanyam Navoudanam Kevalanam. So all these the long list of words is put under Visheshanam. Purveshu Kamashami Saptarshayah Panchakapalam Havihi Panchagavadhanam Panchapuli Yajnika Kitavaha Panchakulalaha Anaganapitaha. Kvachid Visheshanam Upamana Bhutam Bhavati. So this samasa also, which is specially taught by Panini, is also brought under the category of Visheshana Vishesha Samasa. Shastri iva Shyama Visheshanam Upamana Bhutam Bhavati. Shastri Shyama. Sharakanda Gauri. So this is an additional example, which we don't find in Kashika. I think so. Sharakanda Gauri, fair, white, as Sharakanda. Shara is perhaps a name of some grass, and Kanda is its stem or stalk. So she is as fair or as white. Sharakanda Gauri may be Gauhu or maybe a woman. क्वचिद विशेषणम उपमानभूतम परम भवति.
शुक्लकांड आहे का? शुक्लकाष्ठ.
शुक्लकांड नाही, आपण
शुक्लकाष्ठ. हा, शुक्लकाष्ठ.
आणि तुला हे माहितीये का की परदेशी विद्यार्थ्यांना शुक्लकाष्ठ म्हणतात. सर म्हणाले ते तुमच्या मागे बरीच शुक्लकाष्ठ लागली तू. क्वचिद विशेषणम उपमानभूतम परम भवति पुरुषोयम व्याघ्रः इव पुरुष व्याघ्रः. So parallel sutra in Kashika, I'm sure you remember. Purusha Vyaghra, Purusha Simha. Evam Anyepi Vyagradayah Patitascha Apatitascha Yujyaha. So even Apatita also you should try to understand here. Purva Purushaha, Apara Purushaha, Prathama Purushaha, Charama Purushaha, Jaganya Purushaha, Samana Purushaha, Madhya Purushaha, Madhyama Purushaha, Veera Purushaha. So Samana, Madhya, Madhyama, Jaganya, all the whole list is again brought under Visheshana Visheshana. Ashrenayah Shrenayah Kritaha Shreni Kritaha. Evam Anyepi Shrenyadayah Kritadhivihi Patitaischa Apatitaischa Yujyaha. Kruta Krutam, Krutapa Krutam, Bhukta Bhuktam, Bhukta Vibhuktam, Gata Pratyagatam, Yatanuyatam, Ashita Ashitam, Klishta Klishitam, Kraya Krayika, Puta Putika, Pala Falika, Manon Manika. I think all this is from Mayura Vamsakadi list. And then Sanmat Paramottamot Pushta Ujjamanahi is yet another sutra for which he gives examples here. Satpurushaha, Mahapurushaha, Paramapurushaha, Uttama Purushaha. So what I find is that although Panini's treatment of samasa is very cursory, Chanda's treatment is still cursory because he puts all these examples without giving any proper rule, only in the commentary. So does he want to suggest that no separate rule, or he does actually wants to suggest that no separate rule is required, and he puts them in just one sack of Visheshanam Visheshanam. Visheshanam Ekarthena. This is my comment on Chandra. Anyway. पुरुषोत्तमः इति बहुलाधिकारात् विशेषणं परं भवति. So पुरुषोत्तमः पुरुषश्च असौ उत्तमश्च. Apparently we cannot derive this compound in Panini because Panini has put Sanmahat Paramottamot Pushtaha Pujyamane as Purvapada. Uttama has to be Purvapada in his grammar. So Purushascha asau Uttamascha. he has taken care of it, Chandra. Utkrishta Purusha, Go Vrindarakaha, Purusha Nagaha, Purusha Kunjaraha, Katara Kathaha, Katama Kathaha, Kim Raja yo na rakshat, Kim Gaur yo na vahati, Kim Purushaha, Kim Naraha. Kinnaraha, does it have any kshepa meaning? Panini says Kim Kshepe. So Chandra has rid of even this kshepa meaning context when he gives this example Kinnaraha.
Probably yes. I mean, because we also, I mean, they use this word basically for transgender people, and maybe some kind of like Clydea and Shandatu. I mean, this is what is implied. So there might be
Kinnara is
big
used in
shape.
that sense.
Sorry.
Kinnara is used in that sense.
Yes, I mean, in the modern usage, yes, we see the word used in that sense also. And so I don't know, I mean, that might be intended. I'm not sure, but if you have to kind of get some kind of shape out of it, that might be the word. But yes, I mean, I have seen people, not just people, but I think even officially they also use this term these days. I've heard it in news and so on for transgender. I don't know whether it was there in that sense at the time of Chandra or Pani, this Kashika, but yeah, I mean, it might be possible. We don't know, or he's just using it without Kshepa.
Interesting. So someone please look into the dictionary if Kinnara conveys this meaning. And if it is found in modern usage, officially used, then they must have drawn it from ancient Sanskrit. Because they quite often use Sanskrit sources for new words. They must have certainly coined it as a term for transgenders. Anyway, so next one is Ibhya Pota, Ibhya Yuvati. We have in Panini Ibha Pota, Ibha Yuvati. And from where does he get this Ibhya? I don't know. But there is a comment in this K.C. Chatterjee's edition, a footnote. Manuscripts Durga Jumar H.C. Ibha Kashika. So this Ibhya appears in certain manuscripts, it seems. Then we have another word, Agnistokaha. This word also we found in Kashika. Agnistokaha iti visheshanam param bhavati, he says. So stoka is a little. So Agnistokaha means a little Agni, little fire. But why is Chandra required to make it a visheshana or to mention specifically it as a visheshana? I don't understand. Because in the dictionary, stoka is used as a noun also. Stupa is mentioned as a noun. And it means a small quantity. So it is not necessary to call it a visheshana here. Agnischa asau stokascha. Or in that case, it will be Agnehe Stukaha Agnistoka. And therefore, maybe he is required to make it a Visheshana. Iti Visheshanam Param Bhavati Bahuladhikara. Evam Dadhi Katipayam. Yes, here certainly Katipaya is Visheshana. Go Grushtihi, Go Dhenuhu, Go Vasha, Go Vehat. But in this case also, we don't need actually this Grushti Dhenu to be a Visheshana. Gauscha Asau Grushtischa. Goscha, asau, dhenuscha, and if they are used as a noun, I don't know. Go vasha, go vehat, go bashkayani. Then we have katha pravakta, katha shrotriya, kathadhyapakaha, kathadhurtaha. All these examples the same as in Kashika. Go prakandam, ashwamadallika. Yuva khalatihi, yuva khalati, yuva tulitaha, yuva tulita.
Yes, in this earlier examples of Gogrushti and so on, I think, I mean, we still have to kind of consider them as Gunavachanas, right? In order to form, I mean, karmadhare out of it. Otherwise, how would it be possible? We'll have to kind of somehow treat them as Gunavachanas. Or at least, as they say, I mean, because in that case, Go will be the Visheshya, and Grushti or Behad, Bashkayani, I mean, this should be then treated as referring to a particular stage of the cow, right?
Can we, are we not having a compound like Purusha Vyagraha?
Yes, but when we say Purusha Vyagraha, I mean, what we say is basically Vyagraha Iva. So basically Vyagratva, I mean, Vyagra Guna, in a way, is referred, I mean, is basically denoted by the word Vyagra. I mean, it's not referring to the Vyagra as a Dravya, but I mean, as a substance, but rather as a quality, right?
Okay.
So
in all these
probably,
cases,
I mean, this is just what I think. I mean, in order to just make it a karmadharya, I mean, we need to somehow take even these nouns to refer to some kind of quality in a way.
Such Gunavachanas we have to take. They are in fact here. Gogrushti, etc. Gunamutva Dravya As okay. Kata Pravakta, yes, we have finished it. Yuvajaran Yuvajarati. Bhojyoshnam. Okay. Tulya Shveta, Sadrusha Krishna, Shukla Krishna, Krishna Shukla, Kumara Shramana, Go Garbhini, and then Mayurasya Iva Vigatau Amsau Asya Mayura Vyamsaka. I really have failed to understand the meaning of this. Mayurasya Iva Vigatau Amsau. His shoulders or shoulder blades have gone, as in case of Mayura. Can anyone explain me the meaning of this? Does anyone know? The Mayura has no amsas, or his amsas are gone. Amsa means, well, dictionary meaning is shoulder.
I don't know what it means. So तो काय म्हणजे पडलेल्या खांद्याचा वगैरे आहे की काय? खांदे पडलेला. I mean, someone with his drooping shoulders. Or, I don't know.
Is it true to Mayura at least? I mean,
I don't know.
actually, Mayura, no, even any other bird is actually Vyamsa. No bird has any shoulder. Athava, well, he gives another interpretation. Vigatau amsau asya vyamsakaha. Mayura iva vyamsakaha, Mayura vyamsakaha. So there is no clear-cut reference to a cheat, as we find in Sanskrit commentaries. Vyamsaka means cheat, dhurta. But here Chandra doesn't say anything in clear words that Vyamsaka refers to a cheat. He simply says Vigato Amso Yasya Vyamsaka. What does it mean? That whose shoulders are cut or gone. Difficult to understand. Someone please try to understand this meaning of Vyamsaka. I don't think Chandra has mentioned this out of any context or just cursorily without having any basis. No, it must have some explanation. And please try to find it out. Evam Chhatra Vyamsakaha Kamboja Iva Mundaha Kamboja Mundaha, bald as a person from Kambojas. Evam Yavana Mundaha Yavanaha Eva Mundaha Uchcham cha tad avacham cha uchchavacham evam uchcha nicham na kinchana nasyava kinchana asti iti akinchana achopachadini prushodaradishu drashtavyani. So this also we have seen in Kashika. Snatva kalaka ityevam adini tu vakyani. So here I think Chandra differs from Paninian tradition because they take Snatva kalaka as one compound, whereas he says Snatva kalakaha ityevam adini vakyani. And further, no explanation about the meaning. Shanti Priya, who is holding this Panjika in his hands, maybe he can throw some light on it. If not during this session, maybe next session. Snatva kalakaha ityevam adini tu vakyani. Ehi vanija shabdo atra asti. Ite arsha aditvat ach. Arsha adibhyaha ach is a sutra in Panini's grammar. So arsha adi arshaha asti atra ite arshasaha. Ach suffix is added in the sense of atra asti. Similarly, ehi vanija is a word which can be derived from ehi vanija atra asti. So his explanation is like this: the word ehi vanija is here. So that place or that action, this is action here. That action.
So it seems that, sorry. No, what I was saying that it seems that here, I mean, the Chandra rather kind of is trying to say that, I mean, instead of compounds, should we treat them as taditas and not as compounds? Is that what we can understand from this?
Yes. Now I read it again and try to understand the meaning. Ehi vanija shabdaha atra asti iti arsha aditvat ach, and arsha adibhya ach is very much a tadita suffix. And then he further says ehi vanija kriya. Sorry, it's not vanija, it is vanija. But why? What is the meaning of ehi vanija? It should be at least ehi vanije. Very, very difficult to understand. Ehi vanija. And this is again a kriya.
I think we also had this Ehi Vanija example in Kashika. What was the explanation there?
Thing.
Because I remember that reading these examples also in Kashika.
It is very much there. Even this Natva Kalaka is there. And there are many other examples for which I couldn't find any meaning in any commentary or any dictionary. Whatever I
have.
Yeah. No, I mean, especially, I mean, how do they treat them? Do they also treat them as taditas or compounds? So can we just revisit that section in Kashika?
In Paninian tradition, they are in Mayuravamsakadis. And perhaps Chandra wants to differ from Panini and say Ehi Vanija Shabda Atra Asti iti Arsha Aditya. Does Chandra also take this Arsha Adipya as a Tadvita suffix? That also you have to check.
Yes, I mean, this is a tadita suffix also for Chandra. So, I mean, he derives it as a tadita. But I think, what does Kashika do? I mean, it, of course, it includes it in the Mayuri Vamsakadi Gana, but still, I mean, I think we have something similar explanation, if I remember correctly.
Explanation is yes, because this is yatra yatra ayam shabda vartate tadrushi kriya. That is the explanation also found in Kashika. The only difference is that Kashika doesn't mention Arsha Adibhya ach. And Chandra gives this derivation ehi vanija as an adjective of kriya. Ehi vanija kriya. Evam utpata nipata iti.
Yeah. So maybe I think Nyasa might be explaining it. Maybe Trojan or somebody should check quickly. But I think I mean, otherwise, I think we have to treat it as a tadita. Otherwise, how can we explain this? Or as a kind of a, I don't know, some or as a bahubri.
Mahesh, I just found the passage in the Panjika manuscript. If you like, I can read this to you. I haven't read it until now, but I can now just read what I see in the manuscript on the Ehi Vanija.
Yeah.
So Ratna says, Ehi Vanija adayo anyartha ishyante tani api pratipadayan aha ehi tyadi. Arsha aditvat iti akriti ganatvat tasya. Atra iti asyam kriyayam. Evam utpata niyata shabdo atra asti iti utpata niyata adigrahanena na ehi vani ja dhatra ne adigrahanena ehi vani ja Dva, Utha, I'm not sure. Ehi Svagata. Apehi Svagate Ityadayo Grihyante Purva Paradharottara Adinam Ekadesha Vachinam Ekadeshi
Yeah,
Vachanena
that is the next. That's the next one.
Adhikarane. That's the next one, yeah.
Yeah, that's the next one. Yeah. Anyhow, but
So,
I mean, so the Ishyate, the
not
first
much.
line, he says. No, the first line, the very first line, Ishyate.
Ehi vanija adayo anyatha ishyante tani api pratipadayanaha ehi tyadi.
Anyatha Ishyante. Okay, so this is a reference to the Paninians. They
Yeah, they want it
so
otherwise.
they want it otherwise, but then in the Chandra people take it as a tadita. That's what you want to say.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. यही वाणिज्य क्रिया एवं उत्पत्त निपत्ता इत्यादि पूर्वश्चासौ कायश्चेति पूर्वकायः. So here also we have a different treatment. Purvam kayasya, he refers to purva as a noun, and here Chandra refers to purva as an adjective. Purvascha asau kayascha. Kayeka deshe kaya shabdaha. So the meaning totally changes here. Kayeka deshe kaya shabdaha. So purvascha asau kayascha purvakayaha means earlier body, and the word body is used in the sense of a part of the body, whereas in Paninian way it is the earlier part of the body. So this meaning part is shifted from body to purva and from purva to body, from purva to body in Chandra and from body to purva in Panini. He clearly says kayaika deshe kaya shabda. Yakasmat na bhavati कायस्य पूर्वमर्धमिति सापेक्षता. इट्स ओके. एवं अपरकायः अधरकायः उत्तरकायः मध्यमकायः मध्याह्नः सायाह्नः अर्धं च तत् पिप्पली च अर्धपिप्पली पिप्पल्यर्धम् इति षष्ठी समासः दृश्यते च. Will you please tell me whether it is 6:30? No, still time.
Three more minutes.
Still 3 minutes, yeah.
पिप्पल्यर्धमिति षष्ठी समासः दृश्यते च वेद्यर्धं दक्षिणं मेरुः. What is this Vedyardham Dakshinam? This is also not found in Kashika. And there is a Durga variant, Chedyardham Dakshinam Meru. The Chedyardham has some explanation. Chedi, I think, is the name of a country, Chedi Desha. So Chedyardham Dakshina Meru to the south of Meru is the half of Chedi. But in this text, it is given as Vedyardham Dakshinam Meru. Maybe Shanti Priya can find it later on, maybe during next session, he can explain to us. Vedyardham Dakshinam Meru. Similarly, Swarardham Kayardham. So it's not just, I think, Ekadeshi. Drishyate cho Vedyardham Dakshina Meroho Swarardham Kayardham. So he wants to say that it's not only the half part. Is it not so? What does it mean? And then further, Chulikardham, I couldn't understand the meaning. Chulika means the crest of hair on the head, or even the crest of a comb of a cock. They call it cock comb. Cock comb is a kind of a hairstyle also, I think. It's the name of a hairstyle. Cock comb. Anyway, I could not really understand the meaning of any of these words. So maybe you can help me later during the next session. Drishyate either Vedyardham or Chedyardham Dakshinam Merovo Swarardham Kayardham Chulikardham. And then Ekanna Trimshaditi Samapravibhage Yogaha. This also I put Ekat na Trimshat. Because of one, it is not 30. But here he talks about Samapravibhaga. Do we have Samapravibhaga here? Equal distribution, Ekat na Trimshat. All this is actually, this has a context of the word Ardha, meaning Sama. Samapravibhaga. So why does the word Ekanna Trimshat? From where does it crop here? I don't know. Maybe some other. In the footnote it is mentioned, yes. Ekanna Trimshat has been misplaced here. Something about Ardha Chatasraha also appears to have been dropped. Oh. So the readers notice that this word is misplaced.
Yeah. I think if you wish, we can stop here. It's 6:31, and maybe we can continue with this on Monday and read the remaining one. And in the meanwhile, maybe Shanti Priya can find out, readings in Livix edition, and also if we have some explanations in Panchika, right? So maybe we can make a pause here and meet again on Monday, and then read these remaining things. Probably if we can get some more explanation from Panchika, it will be better.
The Panchika doesn't have much, I am afraid. I'm just looking at it, but it's
okay.
Really just a few lines.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, especially such readings now. I mean, this Ekanna Trimshat, whatever. So, or in Liebig's edition, we can check it later. And but anyway, we'll continue on Monday. We can stop here for today. Yeah. So let us thank Professor Bhate for this lecture today, and have a nice weekend, all of you, and see you again on Monday. So thank you very much for joining, and bye-bye to everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.